Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and it brings me great joy to finally talk about Forge of the CHAOS DWARFS. The CHAOS DWARFS are the brand spanking new race pack coming to Total War Warhammer 3 on April 13th. There is a lot to talk about in this video because not only do we have a trailer to go for breakdown to breakdown, but there's also campaign details and the confirmation of all the legendary characters. Notice I didn't say just lords, but characters. So yeah, we're going to talk about a lot of this and I'm going to have everything timestamped, so, you know, the trailer breakdown, the trailer by itself if you haven't seen it just yet, and the breakdown provided by Creative Assembly. This has been an army I've been waiting for a long time, and you can see from the artwork there's a little bit of everything. And I don't normally do this, but if you're interested in Forge of the CHAOS DWARFS, I will be posting a lot of content regarding this very soon, so might you consider subscribing. But with all that being said, let's jump into the first part. So I want to jump onto the campaign details first, mostly because yeah, like, there's a lot of really cool stuff. Astragoth Ironhand is the legendary lord revealed today. All the other names have been revealed, but this one goes into a little bit of details regarding it. And what we do know is the following. The honestly not really that secret is out of the wait did I not shut this bag. At long last, the missing puzzle piece of the Warhammer 3 experience you've all been waiting for is on the way, and we can guarantee that once this lot have rocked up, things are never going to be the same. We can finally confirm the Forge of the CHAOS DWARFS, I love the DLC name by the way, will be arriving as part of the game's update 3.0 on April 13th. It's not that long actually. I was actually quite surprised that they said mid-month when they told us in advance. You can pre-order, so if you want to, you can get 10% off. That's all up to you if you want to wait until you see some gameplay, which won't be too long now. I don't know if I can tell you the date just yet, so we'll keep that quiet for now. Right, let's jump into the legendary characters section because you guys might find this quite interesting. 3 ferocious and foul legendary lords are included. Astragoth Ironhand, High Priest of Hashut, Draz Hoath the Ashen, this is obviously a Forge World character, Sorcerer Prophet of Hashut, and finally Zatan the Black, Commander of the Tower of Zar. They are joined by the one and only legendary Hobgoblin hero himself, Grudges Backstabber. So yeah, we're getting 3 legendary lords and 1 legendary hero, a little bit of a change to the format. But let's carry on, with which they will burrow through the very fabric of reality itself to conquer both the known world and perhaps also far more. Releasing 3 legendary lords with an additional legendary hero is new for us, and it is the path we'll be following for future releases. You told us you wanted more legendary heroes, and we agree. These new heroes can be recruited and used by all lords in any given pack, offering up a lot more playstyle flexibility than before. So just a quick note here, we don't have clarification just yet from Creative Assembly. This might change if they give us new artwork or, well, campaign details right before the video goes live, because that can happen. But as far as I'm aware, they haven't really stated if this is just for, like, Lord packs, race packs, or whatever, you know? Or if it's just for everything. Either way, I'm excited to see some new legendary heroes, and even then, while we're still for now getting less legendary lords, we'll have to see how that goes. They're all pretty interesting characters though. If you've followed the CHAOS DWARFS for a while, you'll know who these guys are. If you don't, there will be lore videos coming out pretty soon. In the case of Grudges, let's just continue there, his appearance improves hobgoblins across the board, allowing more players to tap into his amazing quick wolf cavalry. We're already getting a big sense of what's coming, and I'm super excited for hobgoblins. Today we kick off a series of deep dives into this upcoming troublesome trio with a closer look at Astragoth Ironhand. Astragoth Ironhand is the oldest living sorcerer prophet of the CHAOS DWARFS, the High Priest of Hashut, and once the most potent sorcerer to walk the plane of Zarduk. Astragan's waning powers are a result of prolonged petrification, leaving him bound to a mechanical device that grants him movement. Astragoth takes his place on the battlefield as an armored caster with a mixed spell lore, fire and Hashut, being able to cover plenty of ground at a respectable speed and hold his own up close against enemy combatants. But on the campaign side of things, this High Priest has a few more tricks up his metal sleeves, excelling in the Tower of Zar by generating more conclave of influence, campaign stuff, than any other Dawi Zar, all of which makes him all the tougher to usurp. I'm so excited, I really like this character, the old miniature was just freaking amazing, so yeah, this is going to be cool. Alright, so we do have some campaign details details for Mr. Backstabber over here. Having outlived most of his fellow tribal leaders, you've got to start off strong as a hobgoblin, don't you? Gordo's Backstabber's naturally distrustful disposition and lashings of cunning grants him an enduring talent for survival. With thick scars crisscrossing his shoulders, Gordo's luck carries him far on the battlefield. Focusing on melee combat, this sneaky fella works his way behind enemy lines, either on foot or mounted atop a giant wolf for faster movement. Gameplay-wise, Gordo's Backstabber is a force to be reckoned with, adding some serious versatility to hobgoblin armies. Sweet, full hobgoblin armies. His presence in an army grants incredibly powerful buffs and stat bonuses, and he has some extremely handy skills. He can keep ammunition flowing with Shoot 'em, or enable Vanguard deployment for all hobgoblins with Sneaky. Nice. And if stealth isn't your style, Get the Git summons a band of hobgoblin cutthroats to command. Sweet, I love the cutthroat minis from back in the day. Oh, this is going to be so cool. Whether Gordo's Backstabber is nestled among your army or breaking off from the pack to cover ground with a lesser generic Darwizar, he is an invaluable asset. So far, so cool. I'm super pumped up for this guy. Now, we're jumping into economy and labor. This is actual campaign stuff. No thriving faction in Warhammer 3 is complete without a robust economy to fund their infernal war machine, and the Darwizar are no different. The Chaos Dwarfs need laborers, and they can acquire them by besting their foes in battle, or the convoy mechanic, which we'll have more detail about in the third part of this series in a couple of weeks. There's going to be a lot of posts by CA, by the way. Before setting them to work in mining outposts to harvest raw materials. Raw materials are crucial, this is a separate thing by the way, it seems, for the Chaos Dwarfs empire building, and a necessity for constructing the more advanced buildings and structures. Beyond that, they can be converted into armaments that can unlock the true strength of the dwarfs' fiery military. Acquire labor, harvest raw materials, construct nightmarish buildings, and forge hellish weapons to then bolster the Chaos Dwarfs. There's a bit of a chain. This looks like it's going to be something quite detailed, in all honesty. I'm actually quite excited for this. Plus, let's not forget the power of the treasury, earned by winning battles, constructing outposts, utilizing factories. Ooh, wow, loads and loads of mechanics. And selling armaments via convoys. The Chaos Dwarfs have many avenues of which to earn some serious coin, and it's up to you to ensure the gold keeps on flowing. This is absolutely exciting. This sounds like they're going to be jumping into a load of different mechanics and so on. I'm super pumped in. I just want to play, because yeah, like, we've all been waiting for this race. We've all been waiting for this race. I'm jumping in with an edit here as the images are finally getting sent over, and it looks like labor economy is going to be the new version of slavery, I guess? Because you can see efficiency, raw materials, that's obviously what's tied there. We've already spoken about that. So you're going to need the resource. I wonder, well, I'm guessing labor actions are going to be kind of like the buffs that you can get with the Dark Elves and so on. I do wonder if the Dark Elves are going to get a change to this, considering that this seems to be the new version. But it looks kind of cool. Dedicated actual window rather than just on the side of a settlement is pretty good. And if you notice in the top, there is a lot going on literally at the top of the screen. Like, that is armaments, that's labor. The last resource is linked up, I guess, to the Tower of Zar. There is so much going on. This looks like it's going to be one of the more fleshed out factions that we're going to see in Total War Warhammer 3. So yeah, let's keep on moving. And now we've got some details regarding the Tower of Zar. The Tower of Zar stands tall within the Chaos Dwarfen capital of Zar Nagarund. It is a political battleground for the Darwizar and key to their success as an almighty faction of chaos. Vying for seats within the tower will grant a diverse range of bonuses and rewards to the Chaos Dwarfs. It also presents an opportunity for some competition between the factions outside of warfare thanks to multiplayer compatibility, adding a cooperative edge to the campaign experience in the form of districts. Now that sounds freaking awesome. I play with some friends in campaign, so yeah, this could be quite interesting. Districts can benefit the entire culture of the Chaos Dwarfs, encouraging all to work together to enhance our Nagarund for everyone's benefit. That's freaking cool. With the chance to experiment with a variety of playstyles and try your hand at some sneaky diplomacy, the potential for some serious backstabbing, the Tower of Zar is one of the most in-depth, unique and versatile campaign mechanics in Total War Warhammer to date. Yeah, this sounds pretty cool, to be honest. Yeah, there's a lot that they've shown us in just this, and it won't be too long, hopefully, until they do gameplay reveals and stuff. But this is freaking awesome. I'm super excited. So the Tower of Tsar looks very interesting, and it looks like it's got multiple levels, 1, 2, 3, and 4, as you can see on the side. We can see bonuses that you can start acquiring. This is pretty cool. I imagine that the 3 colored banners are the legendary characters, because it kind of makes sense. I mean, the blue one very much looks like Zatan's colors. This is super cool. Very interesting. We've got seats, districts. So I guess the seats are what we've got here, and the districts are the ones on the left-hand side. God, this is all sounding really, really exciting. I can't wait to see how this is going to turn out, because wow. It's actually a fairly long blog, and stand tall with the Bull Centaurs. Serving the Legion of Asgore, the Bull Centaurs are a monstrous addition to the Chaos Dwarf roster, rocking the upper torso of a Chaos Dwarf and the body of a ferocious bull. These powerful melee combatants are fearsome beasts that, thanks to their high armor and favorable stats, can play both offensive and defensive roles. Interesting. But don't let their hulking size or preference for great weapons fool you. They are most definitely keen-witted. See, in the tabletop, I mostly use them in an offensive type of way. Really, I should go back to that army, because I've actually been painting up my proper Forge World ones and see how I could use them as a defensive thing. That's actually kind of cool. I really like that. Thrown me off there. And the blog itself confirms a variety of flying units with Take to the Skies. Bounding across the battlefield on 4 legs isn't the only way to maneuver your units. The Baal Taurus, yes, is a gigantic monster with, again, the body of a bull, but this time coupled with the membranous wings of a dragon. Oh, did they have a dragon wings? Yes, I've just gone back to check the miniature. Yes, they do have dragon wings. Riding into battle or flying solo, okay. The Baal Taurus burns with horrific intensity. Weapons that strike it liquefy into molten metal, and the monster sets the ground ablaze as it moves, ready to devour its foes whole. The more commonly spotted Baal Taurus won't be the only one on the battlefield, however. The Great Baal Taurus, reserved for the most powerful Great Dwarfs, will be for those wanting to go bigger. That's a kind of weird thing. You guys are probably seeing a different blog post here, because there's a bit of a spelling mistake in the one that they've given us, so I'm not sure what they mean there. They normally give us like a file prior. It's just how it goes. Alternatively, the Lamsu, which is thought to be a rare and interesting mutation of the Great Tauri, is not a being of rage, but instead a manifestation of sorceress intelligence. Though not as powerful as its cousin in combat, the Lamsu is instead able to employ magic, launching fireballs at the enemy, sweet, or transporting allies on shadowy mounts in a blink of an eye. So they can all be mount options. This is freaking great. Alternatively, they are blessed with an uncanny, insidious charisma that can befundle enemies. They may simply choose to let death creep mysteriously through the enemy ranks. This is so cool. I am so happy. We're getting all the flyers. Which was something that I was kind of worried about in like really far back videos. I was saying like, oh, I'm really hoping it's all of them and not just one or the other. So this is great. And lastly, we have on the blog here, before we move on to the trailer, we'll be sharing a more in-depth look at Astragoth Ironhand and the gameplay elements discussed above in an upcoming Forge of the Chaos Dwarf showcase. So keep an eye on the official Total War channel and our socials for further info. Or, you know, the Great Book of Grudges literally at the same time, because, hey, I'm just trying to plug the channel here. Beyond that, we've got more blogs and videos on the way very soon, showcasing our 2 other legendary lords from the Forge of the Chaos Dwarfs, and we'll of course have a full set of patch notes when the Chaos Dwarfs arrive on Update 3.0 on April 13th. By the way, I'm not sure what the price is for the DLC. That should now be live for you guys now. It's just, we don't really get told the prices like before. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. It's just one of these weird things. But anyways, we're going to jump onto the trailer now, and we're going to be stopping, so we're going to be having it play and stopping whenever possible, because there's a lot of things I want to talk about.
Forsaken, abandoned to the dark. What choice but to follow the flame?
Alright, so we're stopping already, mostly because the first thing that we can see firing is the Iron Demon. I've been waiting for this army for a long time, by the way. This is like, my Forge World army is based on this. and what you can already see is some pointy hats, right? So don't you worry, the Chaos Dwarfs, which we'll see throughout the trailer, have a mixture of pointy hats and also some flat hats too. So we're getting the best of both worlds from the traditional old school army, but also the Forge World army. We're literally getting the best of both worlds. I'm super excited. And the Iron Demon is something just very, very special. Obviously, this is with the Cannonade, so it's very likely that we're going to see some upgrade versions for it, because there's two types, if I remember correctly, but this is basically the start of your train. And we're stopping already! There's going to be a lot of stops because there's loads of things. So here's the Magma Cannon. Really, really cool. It's actually one of the models that I've primed up fairly recently and I've cleaned and everything. So I'm really looking forward to this. It's actually one of the more interesting types of war weaponry. You can't really get a good shot in this. The frame goes very fast, but obviously it's not a very large trailer. So they're just trying to showcase as much as possible, which I'm all for. Traditional, honest-to-goodness Chaos Dwarfs. They look great. Sure, they're a little bit different to what you remember because obviously they've been updated a little bit, but my god, I just saw that. When I saw that in the trailer, I was thinking of all those old ones that I've got, which I painted in the kind of like blue and red color scheme from back in the day. So I'm just like, I'm reliving my childhood here. This was an army I just absolutely adored. They weren't the best, they clearly weren't, but they were just really, really cool. You can see that they've got some shields behind them. That's going to be quite interesting, because obviously that means that they're going to be quite defensive, obviously with a hand weapon too. So yeah, you can use them as a melee unit possibly. I don't imagine their stats are going to be too bad. If you think about it, considering the normal dwarfs, they've got the average, you know, shooters that can also be decent in melee. So yeah, this should be quite good.
The fire to tear down the old ways.
I know, I'm stopping really, really quickly, but these are classic hobgoblins. These are the ones which I'm literally looking at a hobgoblin on my table right now with the exact same paint job. So I am so happy to see that. That is just... oh, it's just, they were cool models, and they were really hard to get your hands on as time progressed. Even when they were still kind of in rotation for the Tamilcon series and so on, they were getting rare. And yeah, you know how difficult it is to get those miniatures nowadays? So seeing this on screen right now, it just reminds me of the stupid amount of money I've spent on metal miniatures that I'll rarely use because I don't play the Hobgoblin meta when it comes to 8th edition.
Burning away all fear.
You have no idea how much of a stupidly big smile I have to see Zatan the Black. I know he might not be the most interesting of characters to people, but he's got his classic look. And I tell you, again, I'm living nostalgia for this. I am living through such heavy nostalgia. I can't wait to play as him. I really can't. There's so many options. Obviously, we've got 3 legendary lords, so there's a lot to play with. But Zatan the Black just takes me back to a time when I was trying to learn to paint with those enamel paints and so on. Oh my god, he looks great. He looks absolutely amazing.
Doubt and weakness.
Hobgoblin Wolf Riders with awesome armored doggos. I'm imagining that the dude at the front though is Mr. Backstabber, because he does look a little different. He does have a very cool, ornate, pointy hat, which, you know, kind of fits with the theme. I love the Wolf Riders. If you guys played the tabletop, you'll remember that Wolf Riders, because of Swift Stride, made them horrendously overpowered. So it's going to be nice to see them. Obviously, Wolf Riders aren't so great with the greenskin roster, but I'm imagining there's going to be loads of ways to buff up these boys. You know, I'm looking through this army and I'm like, oh my god, this is a Forge World army and it's not going to cost like £1,000. So I'm actually, I'm so happy this isn't like £1,000 thing, like actual tabletop.
Nothing remains but power and ambition.
Nothing too much of note here, but can we just appreciate how really freaking cool the Chaos Dwarf scenery looks? Like, god damn. I really hope that these things will also be the look for the old world Chaos Dwarfs, so I can, well, let's be honest, I'm not going to paint it, I'm going to stick it in the pile, and then panic paint it whenever I need to use it. But, yeah, it's just great. The visual here. If there's one thing that Creative Assembly know what to do really well, it's really, really amazing visuals. Their art team has just always been on point, and I'm just absolutely stunned.
This roaring fire will always demand more.
That is what I assume to be a Demon Smith, because it looks like the old Forge World mini. Actually, you can still get those in Forge World, only in the Forge World main store as far as I'm aware. But yeah, very cool. This is going to be your spellcaster. These are going to be amazing to use. I'm super excited about this. God, I literally cannot wait to use the Law of Hashut, because it was such an interesting law on the tabletop, so I can't wait to see Creative Assembly's interpretation, as obviously some spells will not be exactly the same. This is the case with literally almost every law that they've implemented so far, which isn't a bad thing. Sometimes it just has to be changed a little bit to fit the gameplay.
More fuel.
I know that artillery piece, like anywhere, that is the top of the Dreadquake mortar, more specifically the mortar itself, mostly because I spent like 20 hours or so trying to make sure that I could clean the actual model and not snap any pieces to it. My god, that was such a bad... Well, it's a good cast for the tabletop, but it was so bad to sort out. But like, wow, yeah, this is going to be amazing. I love the coloring on it. The brass, the gold there is really, really cool. God, if this is as devastating as it was on the tabletop, this is going to be the most tremendous thing that you guys are going to ever use in the history of Total War Warhammer. Not as powerful as, say, the nuke from Ikit Claw, but it's pretty damn strong.
More sacrifice.
Okay, so since the visuals are a bit different because it's a healthy mix of both, I'm assuming this is a Chaos Dwarf Lord. He's got a great weapon there. We can see him and he looks like a Chad. Unless we got like an engineer type of hero. I don't imagine they'll show off the full roster just yet. It'll probably take a few days. Either way, armor looks incredible. Like, goddamn, that looks just so good. I'm so hoping that the old world miniatures look like this because beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The visuals here are just stunning.
The fiercest heat to forge the hardest.
Okay, this one's actually pretty cool. So we can see a lot of artillery, you know, you can see the Dreadquake, we can see an Iron Demon with the Steam Cannonade, we can also see what I assume to be the Iron Demon with the Skull Crackers. That's the stuff that you can see with like the rotisseries. I'm really, really, really happy about this. It looks like we're getting the Forge World artillery, but then mixing with the older stuff. This is literally the best of both worlds. I'm pleasantly surprised. Believe me, I am actually very surprised. Well, not more so surprised, but like, well, yeah, surprised and excited. It's a weird thing, because I wasn't really expecting a mix of both rosters, essentially. There they are. There are the Forge World Chaos Dwarfs that have given me so much anxiety when painting. Oh my god, they look great. The Infernal Guard look absolutely awesome. We don't get a really good shot at them, but goddamn, that is just so cool. And the character walking down is likely to be a Castellan, which is like a melee type hero. I am so happy. God, we're getting a bit of both. We're getting the pointy hats, and we're actually getting also the small iron tin warriors, essentially. Oh, I'm just so happy to see the Forge World units. I know it's not the best design choice for people because they prefer the older ones, but goddamn, like this really takes me back to when I first saw the Forge World army released. It was just so cool. And I've still not to finish painting them, by the way, so I really should at some point. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm really, really excited.
Destiny, rising from within the crucible.
And there's our second legendary lord, Drazhoaf. Oh, so cool. So cool. I am just so happy that we're getting a little bit of everything. The fact that there was a heavy Forge World influence here too is just impressive. Obviously, we've already had a lot of Forge World in DLC in Warhammer 2, and obviously in the mainline roster for Nurgle, but seeing so much Forge World at the same time without even having to pay Forge World prices. He's a pretty cool character. He's honestly really, really cool. His mount is amazing too. I just can't wait to play with these guys and just lose a lot of hours. Yeah, very good character. So spellcaster, he's very, very powerful. You guys will probably like playing him for sure. Oh my god, what a shot. You can see the Bull Centaurs just like the Forge World minis. Is that a Bull Centaur Torok in the right-hand side? Mostly because the hat? Yeah, that might be a character, maybe a Lord option or a hero option. We can see the original dwarfs in the background. In the front, it's very interesting. We have some Ironsworn, I'm guessing? Yeah, this is likely Ironsworn. I've never really seen them painted with, like, that type of helmet. Though, mind you, they never really had that style. There's been a change, which is obvious, and that's likely on the direction of Games Workshop. Well, it definitely is. But very, very interesting. I like the glowing helms. It's kind of like equipping a helmet that's still fresh from the forge, which must be painful. But yeah, this is cool. Visually, what we've seen so far is just wonderful, too.
To seize the world with this fire is to see it burn.
Oh wow, Astrogoth is looking incredible. Keep in mind that the older miniatures did not really age too well as time progressed. So I'm seeing this in a HD format that we've never really seen before, so god damn, that is just, wow, absolutely amazing. I'm kind of lost for words. I am seeing an army I always wanted to see, not only in Total War, but like an updated version of the tabletop stuff, you know? And it's near perfect.
Burn first.
So one thing I'll complain about is that Creative Assembly for some reason do these trailers in 30 FPS, so you don't really get a good shot of the amazing freaking Beltaurus. I am so happy. I am so happy that they're turning into monsters too, and they're not just mount options, which you could have if you use the Storm of Magic book, but it wasn't really a typical thing with your roster by normal army book standards. But it just looks cool. It looks freaking cool. It looks very impressive. Oh wow, that is a stunning glow up for the Lamassu. Like seriously, an absolute stunning glow up. I am so impressed. I am absolutely so impressed. Like if you Google the original miniature, you get something incredibly derpy compared to this. This just looks so good, so freaking good. And it looks like it's going to be using the same rigging as the Beltaurus, so this is actually good for miniatures. If this gets released as a miniature, it's likely just going to be like a head swap and stuff, which is actually a good thing, which means that you don't have to deal with too many bits here and there. But yeah, I'm happy about that. I'm really happy about this look. This is one of the highlights for this trailer for me. Oh my god, the Kadai Fireborn. These, wow. See, I've had the miniatures for a while, but like the miniatures don't move, and I've never really imagined animations like that. That is stunning. That is, wow. Oh god, I really hope this isn't just like a trailer render and it's going to be legit animations, which we should think it's the same, because obviously when they showed off the Fiends, it was very, very similar, if not identical, but this is cool. This is really cool. Keep in mind that these are fire elementals, well, fire demon elementals. Oh my god, so cool. So cool. I've always been too intimidated to paint my own, because fire is really hard to do, but this is so cool. That, my friends, is a Kadai Destroyer, one of the most impressive miniatures that never got released. They showcased this, Games Workshop showcased this back in the day as a tester miniature, but unfortunately it just never got released, which is a massive shame. I know some people with the tester miniatures, and I've been offering stupid amounts of money for it, but they won't take it, which, you know, fair enough. I would probably be the same. It's so cool. We can hear it, we can see it. That's just so cool. I can't believe it. I honestly can't believe it. This is this might end up being one of the best race packs if everything works as intended. We've got to see. But I'm looking at this from a roster perspective. We're seeing so many big boys, so many big names. Like, it's roster so far. The Tomb Kings and the Vampire Coast pale in comparison, and they were very good DLCs in terms of roster. I mean, we're going to have to wait and see how they're used and so on and how everything works, but I cannot take my eyes off the Kadai. I really cannot take my eyes off the Destroyer. Well, that trailer was a little shorter than I expected, but it was definitely jam-packed. Like, wow, that was special. Like, I'm kind of lost for words. And I'm going to say, I am super excited. If this is going to be the future of Total War Warhammer, DLC just being this bombastic in terms of visual, it's going to be a good time. Now, we've obviously got to wait and see how the faction plays and so on, but I don't imagine it'll be too long. And, yeah, this is looking good. This was a amazing redesign of a faction, which didn't really need a redesign, but a fusing and an updating, I can't wait to see more. And there's stuff that we haven't seen yet, clearly. We have to wait and see, because if we look at the, the end screen, we can see possibly a different type of hobgoblin. I don't know. It's the helmet just throws me off. But yeah, I am really excited. I am honestly really, really excited. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let's start a bit of a discussion. This is clearly going to be something that we're going to be talking about for a while. And yeah, I'll see you all very, very soon. There's a lot of videos to come, my friends. There's a lot of videos. Have a good day.
Forsaken, abandoned to the dark, what choice but to follow the flame? The fire to tear down the old ways, burning away all fear, doubt, and weakness. Nothing remains but power and ambition. This roaring fire will always demand more. More fuel. More sacrifice. The fiercest heat to forge the hardest steel. Destiny, rising from within the crucible. To seize the world with this fire is to see it burn first.